If you're creating content, if you're writing blogs, if you're, recording podcasts, whatever it is you're doing, that's a lot of work. And so it can make sense to repurpose some of that content. Let's kind of start out with, why is that such a good idea? Why does it matter? Why would you want to go down the road of like repurposing content?
I think so often we have this idea that if we post one place, whether that's our website or a podcast or a YouTube video or even a LinkedIn newsletter, right? Any of those places that we're creating content and putting it out there for people, we think that everybody saw it. And sadly, that is not the truth. And any good marketer knows people need to see it a lot of times for it to click in their brain of, oh, I actually need what this person has. And so, as people who have businesses, or even if you're just someone who likes to create content for the sake of creating content, maybe you've got a Substack, it's important that we are repurposing it in these different places so we can reach our audience wherever they may be. Now, that is not to say that you need to overextend yourself, which I think a lot of people feel that inclination of, oh, well, now I got to be everywhere. No, I usually tell people pick one core piece of content that you are creating on a regular basis. If you're a writer, that can be your blog. If you're a external processor like me and you want to talk things out, a podcast is probably a good place to go. If you feel like you've got a lot of personality and you want to show that on video, then video might be the thing. But it could just be as simple as one of those three. So either written, audio, or video, or video, right? If you want to do video and audio, but take that one piece and then create multiple pieces of content from that one. So you don't feel like, oh, I have to do my newsletter and I have to create the podcast and I have to talk about something else on social media. No, you could just create one every week, every other week. You get to decide what that consistency looks like for you, or that frequency looks like for you, and then share it in all of those places on a regular basis. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So let's talk about that for a little bit. So that's a great tip that I use personally. Is I was like, yeah, if I'm going to write a blog post, then I'm going to reuse that several different ways because I only have so many hours in the day. But specifically, like, what are some ways, like what's a tangible way that someone could take, say, a blog post and reuse it or repurpose it?
Yeah. So taking one blog post, you can turn that blog post into an email newsletter. If you are not someone who's interested in growing an email newsletter, then a LinkedIn article or a LinkedIn newsletter is also a fantastic way. LinkedIn's hot. And I don't think people realize how valuable it is, because I want to say it's less than 3%. I might have that number wrong. Please correct me, anyone, if we got that number wrong, that are of people that are on the platform that are actually creating content for the platform. So the lifespan of your content is going to be a lot higher. So take that blog post, turn it into an email newsletter, a Substack, or a LinkedIn newsletter, something like that. You can then also, if you're someone who is on Instagram or TikTok or any of those places, don't feel like you have to read through the whole thing. You can say, I just created a great blog post. Here are 3 tips from it. Be sure to check out the full blog post for even more tips or strategies. So there's your video. You can also upload, if you have a YouTube channel, you can upload that to shorts as well. You could also upload that video to LinkedIn as well. LinkedIn's really pushing the 9:16 frame as well, which is really interesting. What else could you do? You could create threads from it. So create a whole thread of like, or even here's my top tip for XYZ from that one blog post. So those are just some really quick, off the top of my head, ways of just taking that one blog post and then turning it into a bunch of different content, rather than
Yeah,
just,
and just
here's the link.
yeah, right. And so a couple points. You said 3% of the people on LinkedIn are doing all. So that's the number that is floating around that I've seen. I've never seen like the scientific study that says it, but that's the generally accepted number. So you're absolutely right. And to your point, like just so the listeners can get another example. So when I write a blog post, or actually usually my process is I write a LinkedIn newsletter, and then that newsletter becomes a blog post as well, and then it becomes an email newsletter to my email list. And then sometimes I make it a carousel. So I have a Canva account and I like make a carousel out of it. So there again, this is all the same piece of content. I edit it slightly for each, platform. But to your point, like that, I can write one newsletter and get like 4 or 5 different things out of it that are all different, appealing to different people at different times. And I've only done, a little more than 100% of the normal work.